Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. It is not yet. Oh boy, it's going to be freezing. By the time that this video comes out, it's going to be some cold weather down here in Florida. Anyways, today we are going to listen to Graeme Edge Band. We're going to listen to this track, In Dreams. This is off of the album Kick Off Your Muddy Boots, released in 1975. Sometimes you walk in, actually every time you walk in, if you got muddy boots, you better kick those things off. Actually, not even kick them off, no. Set them gently down, preferably outside or somewhere. Anyways, we're listening to this track because it was suggested and sponsored by Joe. Joe, thank you so much for the recommendation. I was going to say that I've never heard anything from Graeme Edge, don't recognize him, and I don't, until I did a little bit of a dive here. And an English musician, songwriter, and poet, best known as the co-founder, drummer, and only constant member of the Moody Blues. I couldn't remember. I did not remember Mr. Edge. But listen, we're going to dive into some music regarded and made from him and his band here. Let's go ahead and pull up the track, of course. Naturally, we'll discuss it after. In Dreams. Right in. I like that piano melody, kind of counterbalancing the sharpness of this guitar here. Fantastic guitar, that's for sure.
In dreams, sometimes I'm aching, hoping for someone to wake me, running for my life, all night. But you know
that's a clean transition. Guitar just came shredding out of nowhere. That guitar playing. There's your downturn too. That was an interesting kind of track. I mean, to me, and perhaps obviously most apparent, the most standout thing about this track is the guitar playing. Just from the very beginning, just wonderful. And I like how from the beginning, that guitar just comes out screeching like a hawk and just soaring down and playing really like sharply and heavily over kind of a gentle background, like the ba ba ba, that little kind of gentle piano padding. I like that melody and the way it was set up, and the rhythm of it all is really interesting with how much it holds back in the actual speed and tempo of it all. It just kind of not drags in a bad way, but it's like it holds that rhythm and then gives the snare da da da, and it drifts da 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 da, like, you know what I mean? Like it drifts and it drags, and I think that's kind of interesting. The contrast between something so slow and is languid the word I want to use? Sure, we'll use that to describe the rhythm. And then guitar sharply playing on top of that. Guitar is going to be performed. It took me a second to find it, but that's going to be performed by Mr. Adrian Gervitz. Now, I've never heard of Adrian Gervitz, but I pulled up the RYM page here. I don't recognize any of the bands that he's played with, but here is Mr. Gervitz right there. And yeah, the guitar playing was phenomenal. It was really just a sharp lead, just soaring like an eagle throughout this track. And like I said, I really like that piano as well. And then from about halfway through coming in, we had little elements of symphonies coming in. I see that the orchestra is going to be led by Martin Ford. I'm on Discogs right now regarding Martin Ford, and boy, does he have quite the body of work. Caravan, Barclay James Harvest, Brian Ferry, Japan, Elton John. I mean, his work speaks for itself, and I like how it's included in this track. Not at all included in a garish kind of way or overabundant. It's actually quite subtle for the most part, you know, from some of the sharp riffings of the violin, if I could say riffings in violin, or, you know, a little bit of overarching kind of theme there, but nothing too big at all. I think it just added to the splendor, especially to me, built up from the guitar. In this particular track. And the singing, it was nice as well. You know, it was fine. It was the guitar that cut through everything in here that really got my attention. And then I forgot to mention, Joe, in your email, you said that this was one of those albums that you saw in your dad's record collection and the album cover kind of got your attention. I mean, when you're looking at this thing, when you're looking at that album cover, I mean, I guess I can't make it bigger. How does that not get your attention? There we go. I can zoom in a little bit. Looking like I don't even know, medieval Final Fantasy chocobo looking kind of thing. And I didn't even notice the guy over here. What happened to him? He's got something in his hand. I don't know what happened, but he's buried by the sands of time. I don't know, but it's a cool album cover. I'll tell you what, when I first pulled up the information and pulled up the track so we could listen to it, looking at the album cover, I totally thought this was going to be something metal adjacent. And while it did have a hard rock kind of feel in many aspects, not quite in the right vicinity when it comes to genre. In dreams, you know I'm learning all the time. I keep turning, trying to be the one. But you know I wish I could show you just what is inside my head that makes me feel the way I do. In dreams, sometimes I'm Ching. Is that I Ching? I can't remember what that was. I remember we've covered a song regarding that. Hoping for someone to wake me, running for my life. Or it could also be a typo. But you know how hard it can be, living like a dreamer like me. sometimes afraid, so afraid in my dreams. I mean, on one hand, these are the kind of lyrics that are so open, I think, to interpretation that could be taken so many different ways. But on the other way, I think he's just a dreamer at heart. And he says, how hard it can be for a dreamer like me, so afraid in my dreams. I read that as perhaps being hesitant, scared to take the first step in trying to achieve your dreams. And he wishes that he could show them, like he says, what's inside his head. That makes me feel the way I am. He wants to share himself, but there's something blocking him from taking that first step, even though he really wishes that he could take that first step. Just a little bit of hesitancy is what I'm hearing from him. Let me know what you guys thought of the track, of course, in the comments down below. I hope that you enjoyed the music. Joe, thank you so much for the recommendation and for the suggestion. Hope you guys are keeping warm. Hope you guys are keeping well. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.